What do we have here? This is one of those donuts I have heard about in a pre-production meeting several months ago. The recipe was tossed up on a whiteboard, and I thought, And then as it took shape, it got much more interesting. What we have here is an exquisite example of Christmas creativity come to a donut. What we have is a candied citrus cranberry donut. Look at this. This is a cranberry glaze made entirely of freshly processed and cooked cranberries, but with no added sugar. So you can imagine it's going to be an incredibly tart on the tongue. Additionally, we have this beautiful slice of real candied lemon. Wonderful. What a risk. I will tell you, though, it is a huge gamble to use that on a donut. A slice of lemon, albeit it's candied, it's still going to play interestingly with the tartness of the cranberries. All of this is lightly sprinkled with a light dusting, albeit slightly more than a dusting in places, of confectioner's sugar. So let's take a look at what we have. First of all, the fry ring. Well, she is a little obscured on this one, and in large part because the beautiful cranberry glaze has already rolled down the sides a little bit and onto the bottom. The donut itself is absolutely spectacular. Let's see if I can hold it up. It's beautiful. Now the glaze is sort of settling in places a little bit, but we'll forgive that. I've been manipulating this in between takes and whatnot, so really can't blame the creator for that. But that being said, what kind of donut are we looking at? Appears to be a standard yeast raised donut. That's what it appears to be. We won't know more until we get into it. But what we do know right now, this scent is one of the most intoxicating that I have ever smelled in a donut. This would be tough if you were following a traditional recipe. This is fascinating because you've got both the tart, very, of the cranberry combined with the citrus splash of the lemon. And together, I imagine they are either going to compete head to head or it's going to be an exquisite ballet as it pirouettes through your palate. Let us see together how this goes. What was I expecting? Well, I'll tell you, when you take a lemon and cranberry and you put them together, I was expecting a fight. Well, bluntly, I was expecting a full out brawl. Those two things are hard. Cranberries are delightful, but tart. They carry their own specific weight with them. And lemons, known throughout the world for making one pucker. Together, I thought absolutely I was looking at a culinary disaster. And instead, it's brilliant. The neatest thing about it is the candied lemon. Now, when I was a little guy, my grandmother every Christmas used to make candied fruits. And she grew up in the Depression era, so for her there was a lot of waste not, want not. And she used to take slices of fruit, she'd carefully dry them out and she'd put them in sugar, and she had a whole process. And as a little kid, I didn't fully understand it. As I grew up, you move away from those things, maybe to more sparkly, more adventurous things. But I can tell you that on this donut sat both cranberry, a beautiful homemade cranberry glaze of just processed cranberries. No sugar added, they were fresh, cooked down, beautiful. And a fresh slice of candied citrus. In this case, it was lemon. Together, instead of a clash, it was an orchestra. It was beautiful. It was the crescendo of warm, happy, sparkly holidays. And that's what this donut brings: a sparkle, a joy, a zest for the holiday season. You want more of it. Oh, the smell of that candied lemon shows so strongly. I don't know what it might remind you of, but for me, it's always going to be my grandmother making those little dishes of an assortment of beautiful candied fruits. And the fireplace is rolling. She'd have her big, beautiful white Christmas tree, and she loved Christmas. She'd put up the biggest tree she could find. It was almost always white. I think she had the same one for decades. She'd put on the white sparkly lights and beautiful, beautiful tinsel. And it just, well, this donut brings it back there. Oh, it makes me want those candied fruits. It makes me want to hold that little dish in my hand. And in many ways, this donut presents that opportunity. It gives you the candied fruits. It gives you that beautiful, absolute, delightful, look at this consistency. You see the way that moves? That is so nice. These are beautiful jellied cranberries. There's nothing, no added sugar here. There's not a lot of mess. There's just cranberries. Absolutely wonderful. And in this creation, they come together absolutely beautifully. So beautifully. The elegance of this donut, and I know it's a bit of a mess as you're looking at it. It's a bit of a tart mess, but on this donut together, absolute joy. And in the world of donuts, what else do you want? We ask ourselves here with every donut one simple recurring question: does it donut? Does this donut? The answer unequivocally is yes. Yes, yes, and more yes. Yes to the season, yes to the bells, yes to the freshly fallen snow, yes to the icicles dripping off our eaves, yes to the sleigh bells on the roof, and the promise of something delightful under the tree. Yes, yes, this takes me back. I can actually smell my grandmother's perfume as she gave me a hug and my little dish of candied fruits. And this donut does all that. Make some for yourself. It will take you back to your happy place as well. I would encourage all of you to like, follow, subscribe. And, of course, please have a donut.